Good morning. Just ahead, details on a federal funding announcement for James Smith Cree Nation. And our team's on the road again. We're back at Agribition today. Olivia, how's it going?
You're watching Global Regina. This is Global News Morning.
Good morning, I'm Kimberley Fowler, and thank you for joining us. Well, millions of dollars in funding will be going to James Smith Cree Nation, the site of the deadly September stabbing attacks. We learned during Monday's visit from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that it will help build a wellness center. Nathaniel Dove looks at what the center could look like and how the community plans to move towards healing.
This is a hell of a start.
Nathaniel Dove, Global News.
And now we head back to Agribition and check in on weather with Moises. Now, Moises, the last 2 days, the weather hasn't been so nice for anyone heading to Agribition. What are we looking like today?
Well, Kimberly,
Back to you, Kim.
Well, that sounds great, Olivia. That CIBC Coffee Run, an annual tradition. So check that out for us. Our Olivia Lawrence live at Agribition this week. The case against City Manager Nikki Anderson has been adjourned until December 13th. City councillors Dan LeBlanc and Andrew Stevens, along with community advocate Florence Stratton, filed an application seeking to force Anderson to create a plan to solve homelessness in the city in this year's budget deliberations. LeBlanc claims Anderson failed to adhere to council directives by not including the financial implications to end homelessness in the preliminary budget.
We say City Council gave clear direction on what to do. The unelected city manager refused to do that. We think it's important that elected people rather than unelected people set the direction of the city, and that principle is at stake here.
The lawsuit calls for Anderson to include a previously agreed upon preliminary estimate of $24.9 million to end homelessness in the document. We did reach out to the city for a response, but they declined. Initially, city administration said the high cost of the project was the reason for the omission in the preliminary budget. Now, that budget is being deliberated in council on December 14th. Saskatchewan's second quarter financial update is out, and the Minister of Finance says the province is still on track to finish this year in the black. Connor O'Donovan has more on provincial plans for the projected $1 billion surplus.
The oil and potash Global News.
Yesterday's provincial mid-year economic announcement comes at a difficult time for employees of Saskatchewan's publicly owned liquor stores. Back in October, the province announced it would be closing Saskatchewan's remaining 34 SLGA stores in March of 2023. An estimated 350 employees will be affected by the change. The NDP raised the issue outside an SGLA liquor store in Moose Jaw yesterday, saying it's worried over the loss of good public service positions, especially at a time when the provincial government says we're at a good spot economically. The government says some of the stores will begin closing the third week in January.
Right now we're going through the workplace adjustment plan. I don't know the specific details of all of that. That's stuff that happens between the employer and the employee, and they're working through that right now, and hopefully they'll have some sort of resolution soon.
The NDP is worried that wages are stagnant and that in the past decade, Saskatchewan has created less jobs than Prince Edward Island, which has the same population as Regina. Innovations in cancer treatment are saving lives every day. For one woman in the United States, she was able to beat lung cancer the same day she was diagnosed. Now, in today's Health Matters, Bianca Castro has her remarkable story.
Up here. 61-year-old
April Matters is brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Blue Cross.
If you don't have any plans next Tuesday, it's the perfect time to bundle up and take your family out to Regina City Hall for Light the Lights. The family-friendly event showcases Regina as a winter city and has lots of activities like horse-drawn wagons, interactive ice creations, and best of all, free hot chocolate. The event is free to attend and will take place at Queen Elizabeth Park from 6 to 8 p.m. Giving is an important part of the holiday season, and while riding a bus probably doesn't seem like your usual act of charity, the City of Regina is hoping riders will get on board with the annual Jingle Bus promotion. On December 9th, 10th, and 11th, all bus fares collected will go towards an organization called Growing Young Movers that works with children and youth. During those 3 days, the city says every bus is a jingle bus. Customers with regular bus passes can also choose to donate when they ride. This is the 10th year the city has done this program. A midweek showdown is a pretty rare sight for Canada West men's hockey teams, let alone for two of the conference's most bitter rivals. Since a game needed to be rescheduled from earlier this month, last night the USask Huskies and the Regina Cougars faced off in Saskatoon. Scott Roblin has the highlights.
The Battle of Saskatchewan reignited on Tuesday. Scott Roblin, Global Sports.
Still ahead, alleged Chinese interference in the 2019 federal election. The RCMP has confirmed it is investigating the issue. More on how they plan to look into Canada's democratic processes after the break. And now a live look outside with our Global Regina City Cam. It's brought to you by the Capital Automotive Group. Day 3 at Agribition. Moises and Olivia are on site and will be there right throughout the morning with updates and all the events. You're watching Global News Morning. Stay with us. Today on Global News Morning, the developments from yesterday's court proceedings around the City of Regina's homelessness budget. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders add a pair of Canadians to the roster. More in sports.
You're watching Global Regina. This is Global News Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Homelessness is a major cause for concern in Regina, and having the city exclude it from its proposed budget did not sit well with community advocates and a Regina City Councillor. So much so, the issue has been taken to court. Victoria Idou has more from yesterday's court proceedings.
The case against newly appointed city manager Nikki News, Regina.
And now we head back to Agribition and check in with our Moises Canales-Levine for what's happening weather-wise. Now, Moises, looks like you're fitting in right there with what you got behind you.
There's so much stuff happening around me, Kim. There's wind.
Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe took in the sights and smells of Agribition on day 2. The Premier was in attendance yesterday for the Grain Expo, where attendees heard about updates with CP Rail and developments in crop science. It was also a chance for the Premier to speak on the government's new website titled SK Sustainable. The website highlights the province's economic sustainability and environmental efforts.
That's what this initiative is about, is to educate and to inform not only our global customers in over 150 countries where we export products to, but to also do our part in informing our fellow Canadians on the high quality products that we produce in Saskatchewan.
You can visit the website at sustainablesk.ca. The City of Regina estimates there are 30,000 dogs in our city, and it wants to make sure they all have a safe place to play. The next site to house an off-leash dog park will be A.E. Wilson Park. It was chosen because of its size, location, and ease of access. But the city wants your input on how it will look. It has already reached out to people in the neighborhood, but is looking for wider community feedback. Starting in January, you can give your opinion on the city's Be Heard Regina website. Construction of the dog park is slated to begin in 2024. Still ahead, alleged Chinese interference in the 2019 federal election. The RCMP confirmed it is investigating the issue. More on how they plan to look into Canada's democratic processes after the break. And now we've got a live look outside with our Global Regina City Cam. It's brought to you by the Capital Automotive Group. Minus 18 right now in the Queen City. It's really chilly, feels more like minus 25. We'll have more of Global News Morning and at Agribition right after the break. Welcome back. 6:21 and a first look at the markets for Wednesday, November the 30th. We have the Canadian dollar, gold, and crude oil all trading up. The Canadian dollar now sitting at 73.98 cents US. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have fully committed to diving into what promises to be a massive off-season for the Green and White. Yesterday, the team continued preparing the roster for next season, signing a pair of Canadians, one who is no stranger to football fans in Saskatchewan. The first Riders signing announced yesterday the 16th overall pick from the 2022 draft, offensive lineman Zach Fry. Fry, who attended camp this year, went back to Western University for his fourth season of eligibility, where he was named an Ontario University Athletics All-Star and second-team All-Canadian. Also signed was Saskatchewan Huskies kicker and Saskatoon native David Soley. In 4 seasons with the Dogs, Soley hit 61 field goals, including an 83% completion clip this past season. Over 141 career kickoffs, Soley booted for a 53.3-yard average. The Holy Cross graduate was named a 2022 Canada West All-Star after being named a first-team All-Canadian in 2021.
You grow up watching the Riders, you grow up grateful for.
Groups A and B at the FIFA World Cup drew to a close yesterday, with the first 2 knockout games being set. In Group A, Netherlands ran out to a comfortable 2-0 win over host Qatar to advance as group winner. Qatar becoming the first host nation to lose all 3 of their group stage games. And in the winner-take-all match between Senegal and Ecuador, it was the African side who came out on top by a score of 2-1. That sees them finish second in the group behind the Dutch. In Group B, a brace from Marcus Rashford helped England to a comfortable 3-0 win over Wales. The 3 Lions winning their group for the first time at the World Cup since 2006. And a first-half Christian Pulisic goal has been enough for the USA. That 1-0 win over Iran, the U.S. qualifies in second place. The first 2 knockout games are set. Netherlands will face the United States on Saturday, while England will take on Senegal on Sunday. Well, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson got candid about a troublesome time in his childhood.
I have been waiting decades to do what I'm getting ready to do now. Every day I used to stop here at the 7-Eleven.
Media about when he would steal Snickers bars from his local 7-Eleven almost every day. Now, after all these years, the 50-year-old returned to his hometown in Hawaii to right the wrong, buying out the store's entire Snickers stock. He left all the chocolate bars at the cashier's counter and asked that they be given to anyone who looks like they're stealing. Well, Christmas has come a little bit early for us with a video from Ryan Reynolds. Reynolds posted this rehearsal footage of Will Ferrell and himself practicing a number from their new film Spirited. Reynolds captioned the post with, "You've got to be willing to be bad at something if you want to be slightly less bad at it." But the funniest reaction would have to be from his wife, Blake Lively, who commented, "Can you get pregnant while being pregnant?" The couple are currently expecting their 4th child. Well, tomorrow on Global News Morning, we're at Agribition once more. Troy Childs will be there to check out everything that's going on for day 4 of the exhibition and look at some new research on how to improve your job search for a new job. You can follow today's developing stories on our website and tune in tonight for Global News at 6. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your Wednesday.